started so we can stay on schedule today. First bill on the agenda, House Bill 454. I'm going to recognize Senator McCon to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill comes from us from the House with Representative Rushing. This bill, last year, there was a bill that took and changed some of the language in the radar bill. This bill merely says that a municipality incorporated where there's a county seat in the municipality and where there's a junior college or community college located there would be authorized to run radar. In the previous years, I'll go and tell the committee that the town of Decatur had run radar for years and years and years, and the change in the language last year stopped that. So this bill itself and the community at question is Decatur, where East Central is. They feel like that it is continuously necessary for the safety of the students and the people in that area. So that's where the bill comes from, and that is the simple explanation of it.
Okay, Senator, I just want to clarify the change that was made last year, you feel like was unintentional as it relates to the town of Decatur?
It was very unintentional. It put in some additional language that disqualified them from that.
Okay, are there any questions of the committee? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does this apply to every municipality that has a community college?
So this would apply to every municipality that have a community college and it would be a county seat.
And a county seat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So would they be allowed to run radar on any state highway that runs through there as well?
So there's still a provision in there that it would not be for the state highways, that municipalities still prohibited under current law unless their population reaches a certain level.
Okay, so we're not affecting the population is what I was trying to get to.
We're not affecting the population on the state highway.
It's
This would
just on
only be the
municipal roads.
streets.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Other questions? Do I have a motion?
God is sufficient, do pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that bill will be reported.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We are going to skip around a little bit on the agenda, so stick with me so you'll catch up on I want to take up several in block. And my motion is going to be to take up House Bill 1016, 1017, 1244, 1245, and 1246 in block. All in favor of taking those up in block? All right, the explanation, yes. I will, yes. Let me call those again just to be sure we're clear. House Bill 1016, House Bill 1017, House Bill 1244, House Bill 1245, House Bill 1246. Okay, the explanation beginning with House Bill 1016. This is a memorial highway designating a segment of Highway 8 in Chickasaw County as the Deputy Jeremy Allen Boyles Memorial Highway. House Bill 1017 will designate a section of US Highway 45 and County Road 110 in Clark County as the Army Special Terry Kashawn Dantes Gordon Memorial Intersection. That's an intersection naming. House Bill 1244 is going to be designated a section of Mississippi Highway 365 in Prentiss County as the Howard Tillman Bobo Memorial Highway. House Bill 1245 is going to designate a segment of Mississippi Highway 364 in Prentiss County as the James Miller Jordan Memorial Highway. And House Bill 1246 will be designating a segment of Highway 365 in Prentiss County as the Leland L. Holland Memorial Highway. And all the resolutions have been submitted as we require. Are there any questions on any of these? Do I have a motion on the block? All in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay, the block will be reported. Now I want to go to House Bill 691, which is a Memorial Highway bill. I want to do it separately because I have an amendment. This will be to designate a portion of US Highway 45 in Wayne County as the Army Sergeant Eric Newman Memorial Highway. Bear with me just a moment. I need to grab my file on this one. I've got an amendment that's twofold on this. Chairman Busby in the House asked that we place a reverse repealer in one of the Memorial Highway bills. They have several members that have late requests, as we do here. So certainly, I don't have a problem accommodating that. But it's sort of a standing rule that the length of the Memorial Highways, we try to keep those to about a mile. Thereabout. This one calls for 3 miles. And so because I make sure that all of the Senate members in these bills, I've talked to each of you about the length of your highways, I think it's prudent that we hold the House to the same standard. So my amendment will be, again, to add a reverse repealer and to change on line 8, 3 miles to 1 mile. And that's my amendment. Are there any questions on the amendment? Do I have all in favor of the amendment? Any opposed? All right, back to the bill. Any questions on the bill? All in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay, that bill will be reported as amended. All right, next we will go to House Bill 1003, the Mississippi Fully Autonomous Vehicle Enabling Act, and I will recognize Senator Williams to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is the same bill that we passed out of the Senate a couple of weeks ago with a couple of exceptions. Our Senate bill had some redundant language at the end of Section 3. That's not in this bill. It was just basically speaking to the DPS section that is in Section 4. And also, I wanted to add, if will, maybe by way of amendment, Madam, I'm not sure the procedure, but to add a reverse repealer in this.
You're
If we could.
recognized for your amendment.
At this time, I'd like to add a reverse repealer.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, now back on the bill. Are there any members that have questions? All right, do I have a motion?
Is it title sufficient to pass committee sub?
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, that will be reported as amended. All right, give me just a moment here. Let's go to House Bill 986. So this was, the purpose of this bill is to allow public and private partnerships to establish the electric vehicle charging stations. We saw this bill in the Senate. In fact, I've got a strike all here that just replaces and adds the Senate language. I was just more comfortable with the way the Senate passed it out and was familiar with that. And so that's what you have before you. And I'm happy to entertain any questions on this. Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? That will be reported. Let's go to House Bill 1477. This is the harvest permit extension of the repealer. We passed the extension through this chamber that extended it for 4 years. The House sent me a bill that only extended it for 2 years. So what I would like to do in this, I have a strike all that goes back to the Senate language from last year where we deleted the repealer. And that passed out of this chamber unanimously. I don't remember there being much discussion, if any, on that. So that is what is contained in House Bill 1477. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion? Thank you. All in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay, that will be reported. In our remaining bill, let's see, House Bill 1025, I will recognize Senator Tate to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Chair, House Bill 1025 is a simple bill. What it does is it allows for airport authorities where they have personal property that is at a value of zero. Basically, it takes more money to try to bid it out than it would be to bid it, or where people are just not interested at all. It allows them to be able to dispose of those materials. That's an explanation of the bill. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Any questions on the bill? All right, do I have them? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do they go through the normal surplus and disposal process like other state entities?
I believe that they have, and what this actually comes from my personal Meridian Airport Authority in my district. And what they've done is they've tried to put things such as VCRs, broken binoculars, furniture, non-working printers, just things that have zero value. There are no takers for any of these things. And so they say they don't have the authority to dispose of them. And so this would allow them to do that. That's what they tell me.
Well, I just thought once if you went through that process and there was no value for it, you could either dump it in a trash can or give it to somebody if it was determined there was.
If that's the case, then
Yeah.
I'd be glad for them to just do that and we not pass anything. But from what they understand, it is that we do need to have some form of legislation to give them that authority.
My concern would be, and I may be wrong, I may not be reviewing this properly, but the concern would be if they find that its fair market value personal property is zero, so they can just kind of without going through the normal process, they could just say, you know what, I don't think we can't use this desk anymore. It's actually got some value, but they just determine they think it's got no value. They say that on the minutes, they can get rid of it. I mean, I get the idea that you want to be able to get rid of some stuff quickly and efficiently, but unless you go through the surplus process and the disposal process, who's to say that it's got no value? Is it just them just kind of in their own estimation, or they have some?
From what I understand, they've tried to get this and there's just no takers on some of these things whenever they go through whatever that process is. And it does stay in there that, you know, that no official or employee of the authority may derive any personal economic interest in it. So it's not like they'd be able to take it home and use it, but
I understand. Well, that's fine. Madam Chair, I think what I'd like to do is get somebody from DFA just to maybe educate me and let me know if there is something more cumbersome about the process that I'm not realizing. And if it's determined that the process works fine, they just need to go through the one additional step to make sure that there is no value or that they can't get some money for it. We can either I can make an amendment on the floor or just leave it alone based on that information I received. So
Sure,
Thank
I
you.
have no problem continuing to talk about it as we go along. I think that would be helpful.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Senator Tate.
Senator England, you recognize for a question?
Yeah, just a quick question. Senator Tate, you mention binoculars as part of this? Is that right?
that was part of what they have on their list that they can't get rid of. You interested?
Well, do they have radar? Are they
Sir?
just watching these planes with binoculars or they have radar?
I'm not sure. I don't think that's on the list, but I'll be sure to get
Okay.
you a detailed.
All right,
list
yeah,
of
I'd
those,
like to know
Senator.
that. Thank you.
I thought so. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Senator Delano.
Kind of go along or back to what my chairman of appropriations is kind of hitting on. If something doesn't have a value and it's deemed as quote unquote trash, like a VCR, there's no value. I just don't see how that would be something that's prohibited in law from disposing, but something that is, let's say, a 1978 CUCV military vehicle that was originally provided to the Air Force for a vehicle to use on an airport authority that has used or has run its useful life. It still has a residual value, even if it is a salvage value. So we're not precluding them from accounting for the salvage value of it versus a fair market value, correct? There's an argument that could be made that a salvage value would be considered in the fair market value. And I haven't read this bill, but this is just an odd bill for an airport authority to come up and ask for this specifically, when I could easily see a special use vehicle that's used at airports, you know, that like a donated vehicle from the past, having no value to the airport, but there may be some other residual value such as a salvage. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, sir. I would say that, you know, if it does have value to be salvaged, then in the fair market, there would be someone that would want to, you know, place a bid for it, you know, to then salvage it. Again, this was something that our airport authority just doesn't feel like they have the authority to do. They went to my House member, my colleague, they passed it over there, and I'm handling it here.
I understand. I appreciate your assistance. I'm sorry I couldn't see you that well. Senator England's cheeks are all in the way.
Thank you. And I believe Senator England had another question, so you're now recognized.
I did. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Senator Delano. Senator Tate, it's my understanding that, and I guess it's a friendly question, it's my understanding this tracks kind of what municipal law currently says. Is that correct?
What now?
This tracks what what is currently said with municipal law. Is that
Okay.
correct?
You say so, yes, sir?
Okay, I think it does. I just wanted to see if that was correct. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there other questions of the committee? Other questions? And I intend to work with the DFA to get a few answers. I've heard your questions and have made notes. So before should you feel the need to pass it out of committee today, if we get to that point, and I would ask you to do that, to give us a chance to keep working on it. The plan would be to get you more information, to hear your questions today and to get you answers at that point. So if there are no other questions, do I have a motion?
Title sufficient do pass.
All in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay, that will be reported out. That completes the work for today. So is there a final motion? Thank you.